Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Silly Girl with Their Silly Sports. And welcome back, if you haven't seen the first segment already, TDs with TD. So, if you haven't seen the first segment of this, basically I just talk all things football. If it's football related, I'm talking about it. I will be talking about the most recent wildcard playoff games that happened over this last weekend, give my opinion on it, talk about what happened, like all that cool and fun stuff. So first I'm going to talk about the games that I predicted correctly, okay? I got 4 out of 6. I predicted them on my TikTok. I'm also going to start off with the game that I thought was the most interesting. sorry to say it. A lot of these playoff games I just found to be boring. They were boring. Like, it wasn't like, oh my god, like, holy I can't believe that happened. So let's talk about this Broncos versus Bills game. So I predicted that the Bills would win. I'm going to be real, I'm going to be honest. That first early touchdown that the Broncos got, I was like, ugh, but it was beautiful, well deserved. I'm not against it. While I was watching the game, I kept hearing the commentator saying, don't let Josh Allen use his legs. I'm like, guys, what are we talking about? And I watched him and I was like, oh my gosh, like that little guy can run. That little guy can run. But really, no, like don't let Josh Allen use his legs because he loves getting out of the pocket. Personally, from what I've seen, he is a QB that likes to do the plays that most QBs won't do because they don't want to get hurt. They don't want to have to slide. There's a lot that goes into keeping QB safe, which I understand. But I love that he just goes for it. I also want to mention the beautiful fake punt that the Broncos did, which honestly, I'm still learning along with all of you. I didn't know you could do. I had no idea. But it was so cool and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I can't believe they can do that." So I will give them that. I also noticed that when the Broncos had faster drives, they were getting rid of the ball more, they were getting those downs faster, all of that they played a lot better. Usually younger teams, they just work better, faster pace. So when I saw them start to slow down, you could see the mistakes that were being made. Then the Broncos had a missed field goal, and I feel like anytime a team has a missed field goal, it just screws them over. It's such bad luck from there on out. But it is quite impressive that Sean Payton took a 2-6 team to a playoff contending team. I think Bo Nix did a great job in his rookie season. He was a little sleepy in the beginning, and then he woke up as the season went on. So I did have my opinion that I didn't think that the Broncos deserved that spot because that's just coming from a Bengals fan, but I think that they did the best that they could and they fought till the end. I also want to mention that the Broncos had 26 offensive plays, but only 3 of them were in the Bills' territory. You're trying to tell me 23 offensive plays were in your own territory? Come on. I know I just praised them and said that they did a great job getting into the playoffs, but that's not, in my opinion, playoff worthy, or further down the line playoff worthy and Super Bowl worthy. Anyways, let's go back to the Bills. Sean McDermott wasn't having to overexert himself with plays and calls because the Bills just were awake. They were just pulling out the drives. They were just running that ball. Obviously, there's a big advantage for the Bills having possession of the ball most of the time. So, yes, here we are now. The Bills moved on. Bye-bye, Broncos. The next prediction that I got correctly was the Steelers versus Ravens game. I went Ravens. They won. Let's talk about it. I won't say that Russell Wilson was terrible. He was not terrible at all. They got touchdowns. They were great. Good for them. But it was subpar. And I'm going to say subpar just because he's just not young Russell Wilson anymore. He's not in his prime. Honestly, I forgot that he was even around. Okay, I'm gonna be real. I thought that old fart was out of there. So, sorry, Steelers. And then we look at Lamar Jackson and how much luck he had just getting out of the pocket. Once again, sorry, Russell Wilson, you did not. But Lamar Jackson did do very well. And then you have Derrick Henry. He got a 44-yard touchdown. And OMG, he just ran through all of that defense, that Steelers defense, and got a touchdown. He was like a bulldozer. But anyways, Ravens moving on. Now, okay, this one, literally, I predicted it just off of vibes. Because I was like, I don't follow the Commanders or the Buccaneers enough to know, okay, like, who would make it. So I went Commanders. The vibes were correct. Before I get into the Commanders, I do want to point out that although the Buccaneers lost, Baker Mayfield was crazy. He was an absolute unit. Back to my comment about Josh Allen being a QB who makes plays that most QBs won't, I want to put Baker Mayfield in that category as well. He was not sliding. He was a truck going through these people, and I think he either stiff-armed or he just you know what I mean? And it's just there they go. And it was a pretty close game the entire time. The Commanders had a lot of fourth and goal opportunities. They had a lot of fourth downs that they went for. The Commanders had about 3 out of 5 fourth down successful attempts. The ones that they didn't get were obviously because of the Bucks. They stopped one of them, which made a Jaden Daniels incompletion and kept the Bucks in the lead for a period of time. There was a fourth and goal call by the Commanders. It was successful, and that caused the Commanders to lead after the Bucks leading for a bit to a 20-17 lead. Then there was an opportunity missed by the Bucks, and it came when they were 2nd and 1 and they were on Washington's 12. That just means that they were in Washington's territory on the 12-yard line. They screwed up 2 plays, so they had to settle for a field goal, which then tied the game at the 4th quarter. Then at the end of the game, the Commanders had the opportunity for a field goal. They took it. The ball doinked off of the field goal post, and they got it. So then the Commanders won 23-20. So the last prediction I got correctly was Packers versus Eagles. I guessed Eagles. Heller, got it right. Duh. So the Packers immediately dropped the ball at the kickoff, which caused a turnover. The Eagles got it. Ugh, yikes. And something I mentioned in my prediction video for my Packers fans out there was that Jalen Hurts doesn't have the greatest record when it comes to hitting points in the first half. It was either first half or first quarter. Okay, don't sue me. So I saw that as the Packers defense could take advantage of that, but obviously they did not. This is why I need to have connections, people. But I noticed that Jalen Hurts had way too much time to think and to throw. I think that's where the defense lacked, is allowing him to be able to do such a thing. Then you had a Darius Slay Jr. pick 6. Sorry, Packers, it's really just not looking good. And then Josh Jacobs had a wonderful run, taking everybody with him. If you know, you know, if you saw. But I understand that the Packers had a lot of injured receivers, either in the past, currently, or in that game. Some people got hurt. So, Eagles are moving on. So, here's the games I got incorrect. Chargers versus Texans. What the was that? Seriously? I was like, huh? Like, what? Maybe I just fell for the Justin Herbert bandwagon, but that was surprising. Way too many sacks against him. The plays were just slow on his end. He was taking too long to think. With all the fumbles and the sacks and the blocked punt, it just really screwed over the Chargers. CJ Stroud had way more success getting out of the pocket and being able to complete those drives. Then there was a blocked field goal, and I'm so sorry, but that just over the Chargers. It just seemed like this was all really in the Texans' favor. Then the last one I got wrong, which I thought was absolutely insane, the Rams versus Vikings game. I just can't get on the Rams bandwagon. Like, I don't know what it is. I just don't feel the vibe. I like Cooper Kupp, don't get me wrong. He did great for me in my fantasy league, but I had Matthew Stafford at the beginning of my fantasy league year, and he did terrible. So I kind of have like secret beef with him. And then I saw the score. I remember it was like 3 and like I don't even know. Okay, it was an absurd amount of points on the Rams side. So from the beginning, the Rams kind of had control over the whole game. It was all in their favor from the beginning. And I found the outcome surprising considering the Rams have one of the lowest defensive records of the season. So I expected, okay, well, it's Vikings, Sam Darnold. They have a 14-3 record, right? So it's going to be easy. And then it wasn't. A lot of people are saying that what the Rams did was one of the most impressive playoff performances they've seen. So immediately at the beginning of the game, Matthew Stafford threw a 27-yard gain, and then that went on for a 70-yard drive. Then that drive ended with Matthew Stafford throwing a 5-yard touchdown. Then after they got that touchdown, the Rams forced a 3-and-out on the Vikings. And then the poor Vikings had to deal with fumbles and sacks. Not a good night for them. So sorry, Vikings. I guess the Rams are moving on. So if you want to go check out my round 2 playoff predictions, that's over on TikTok. I know it's getting banned. It's okay. You guys can still look at it if you still have the app downloaded. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something so cool and awesome. And I'll see you next time. Mwah.